to the Ant-Man channel. It is Sunday the 27th of January 2013. My last video was about how the Republicans are either willingly bowing down and out to the Democrats, or they're just that out of touch with what's going on these days. Maybe they watch a lot of CNN, I don't know. But probably the only issue today that I cannot speak too much on, but it was a good article there by Taylor Rose. If you want to go back and look at that video, it's pretty good. I have a lot of news here for you guys. I have this other one that is in front of me here by Bob Unruh. I like to introduce these journalists because they do all the work. They bring us the news. They don't water it down, and they do a good job. Bob Unruh joined WND in 2006 after nearly 3 decades with the Associated Press, as well as several upper Midwest newspapers, where he covered everything from legislative battles and sports to tornadoes and homicidal survivalists. He is also a photographer whose kinetic work has been used commercially. And his article, excuse me, I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm just like, whoa, where do I start? But this is good. This is a good one to start with. So I'll just get right into it. WND exclusive. Will equality now mean lower standards? Military support organizations blast lame Duck Panetta over combat decision. Panetta is mostly famous to me for what he told Congress, that he takes orders from the UN, and that if he feels like it, he'll let Congress know what they're up to. I mean, how can you be so openly tyrannical and get away with the kind of stuff they're saying? The Obama administration are all out of control. All these guys, Dianne Feinstein, Hillary Clinton, Leon Panetta, who's gonna be, he's gonna be out pretty soon. It's gonna be Chuck Hagel, but all these nutcases that work for Obama are just absolutely gangbangers. Joe Biden, Eric Holder. All those people I just mentioned literally deserve to be in prison, and they deserve everything they get from the people. The people want Obama's head on a charger right now, and if you don't believe me, go look at the petition. It's really something, man. You're calling for the president's head. That is pretty crazy, you guys. Like, if you think about how is the president going to respond to that? He's going to start putting people on lists because this guy's got absolute protection for life. He's got the NDAA unconstitutionally, but the government goons and the moron cops. Not saying all you cops are morons, but they on purposely hire stupid, knuckle dragging cops on purpose because they could follow, because they just follow orders and have absolutely nothing to live for except following orders. But that's how they get away with it. It's the uninformed, ignorant people out there that are being controlled by all the manipulation out there and the evil spirits, I believe. But that's what it is, and it's the zombies against you guys. So are you afraid of a zombie? There's not much there. I don't care how big and tough you are. If you're not, mentally there, you're not going to be in a fight for too long. I don't know. What do I know? I just train. I don't know. But anyway, let me get into this article. An organization that promotes high standards and sound priorities in the military is blasting lame duck Defense Secretary Leon Panetta for opening combat positions to women. Elaine Donnelly of the Center for Military Readiness said the move compromises the aim of having the most trained, most skilled, and best performing military. Career pressures to make this work will vitiate core values because the military's honorable tradition of recognizing individual merit will have to yield to pressures for diversity metrics, she said. Donnelly warned that Marine and Army field commanders who desire promotion will be compelled to pursue gender-based quotas by ordering women into direct ground combat infantry battalions. The Pentagon, under Barack Obama's direction, this week said virtually every ground combat job now will be open to women. The decision came even though the military itself concedes men have physical advantages over women. that are relevant to carrying out basic tasks. The average woman, the military acknowledges, for example, has lower upper body strength than the average man, and women are hospitalized at a rate of 30% higher than men. Even the left-leaning Time acknowledged accommodations for women are forthcoming. Integrating women into the combat arms, primarily infantry, armor, and artillery, is going to be a balancing act, the magazine said. Standards must be met, but there will be pressure to ensure enough women qualify so there's not only one or two in a 150 troop company. Before long, commanders will have to implement various types of double standards involving women, known as DSIW, and to avoid soaring injury rates to tough training. Challenges for men will be dropped and forgotten, weakening the finest fighting force in the world. Donnelly charged that the lame duck Panetta recklessly announced unilateral nullification of direct ground combat exemptions that are important to the majority of military women who serve in the enlisted ranks. She noted Panetta decided to exclude Congress and the American people from the decision and imposed a radical diversity agenda on our military without disclosing the data and results of extensive research on the subject of women in land combat that the Marine Corps conducted last year. Congress now should insist on seeing the results of the Marine research, Donnelly urged, and conduct immediate oversight hearings before the harmful policies imposed by the outgoing Secretary of Defense become de facto law. We are hearing assurances that training standards will remain the same, but no matter what is promised now, incremental pressures to assign women to Marine and Army infantry and Special Operation Forces battalions will drive qualification standards down. The same advocates who demand career opportunities in combat are the first to demand unequal, gender-normed standards to make it fair, Donnelly said. She said, Congress has the constitutional responsibility to make policy for the U.S. military. If data gathered showed that gender diversity would strengthen infantry battalions, surely we would have heard that news by now, she said. Despite current denials, training standards will have to be lowered to achieve the desired critical mass, and as we have seen many times before, officials will deny gender-normed standards or disguise them with sophistries, pretending that equal effort is the same as equal results, she said. Gender norming is not work in infantry battalions, but it will increase resentment and harm team cohesion and morale. These negative dynamics surely will increase problems of sexual misconduct across both sides of the spectrum, ranging from sexual abuse to inappropriate relationships. The Miami Herald recently posted a list of nations in which women serve in combat, including Israel, where the five major infantry brigades still are all male. Other nations where women are in the combat ranks include Canada, France, New Zealand, and several Nordic countries. Earlier this week, Donnelly released a new report on a U.S. Marine plan to put women in tip of the spear combat positions. It argued females are not equal when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. The report warns America's social experiment with the members of its military may become costly. Mandatory diversity taken to extremes is all about elitist attitudes, ideological groupthink, and Amazon warrior myths that disregard inconvenient facts, the report said. Ancient Greeks and Romans believed in mythical Amazon women, but today's theorists seem to believe in popular culture depicting super female warriors on television and in feature films. Last year, there was that Katy Perry. Who the hell's Katy Perry anyway, right? Talking about her like she's like some god or something. She's nobody. She's just a stupid actor or freaking stupid singer that is absolutely... Who cares about that right now? We have things to do. I mean, reality is so much more important than stupid TV and celebrity nonsense. She's talented, though, I have to admit. She has a very nice voice. She's very pretty, but who gives a crap about her? She's not that important. Anyway, it's just because just bringing her up makes me feel like a trendy. But anyway, it's because that one video she made last year where she's depicting an army woman and that she's been in the front lines, she's been in all the action, and then there's that controversial sticker on the wall in that video where it says all women are created equal or whatever. Yeah, I mean, for people who don't know, a lot of stuff you see on TV is pre-programming. It's getting you used to the idea of seeing certain things. Like, it's pre-programming you to accept women as equals in the military when without being, you know what I mean, like, I don't know how to explain this, but I pretty much read it all right there. That women statistically, in the strength department, it's not the same. I mean, yeah, you are equal to the rights of men, but I guess in the art of war, those rules are very, they don't apply. So, I mean, I'm stumbling over my words pretty much because this article explains it all in a nutshell. So I really have nothing to say at all. But it's all these statistics are true though. I really didn't look into this women being in the front lines, tip of the spear stuff. I really haven't looked into it, but I did notice that the media was pushing women being in the military a lot last year in our movies, in the music and stuff like that. And I mean, I was already kind of seeing this happen already, so I'm not surprised. But this, I mean, what they're talking about here in this article is a factor that this could cost the lives of a lot of people experimenting with this kind of stuff. If women were effective in the front lines of war, don't you think people would have been doing that since the Roman Empire or the Egyptian Empire or whatever? I mean, all these things would have been taken into consideration long before our time. And notice nobody's ever done it, but you know what I mean? It's just another type of diversion they use against us, I guess. There's things that work and there's things that don't. And obviously nobody's ever used this tactic because it probably is you have to put a lot of effort to accommodate for women to be on the tip of the spear, as you would say. But let me get... well, you guys could go and read this article. There's still quite a bit here to read. And I did read a lot of it, but it's under worldnetdaily.com, WND.com. Will equality now mean lower standards? That's the name of the article by Bob Unruh. He raises a very good question, whether this is a tactic to weaken our military. But overall, what I see here is a throwing off of the culture of women. Women generally, traditionally, were never meant to go and serve our country and die for everyone. That traditionally, and it seems naturally, that's not what women are meant for, to go and blast a bunch of people on foreign soil, for our freedom. But, we live in different times than, the times of World War I, World War II. These are much different times, man. I mean, America's not America anymore, and we are reforming right now. We're learning, I always thought, after hearing Ron Paul talk so much last year, that this country was going toward a revolution. But I don't think it's a revolution of a physical battle unless the government really does impose its Second Amendment infringement. But their fiat bills, their unconstitutional bills that are against our God-given liberties. But what I do see is pretty much that they're throwing off the culture of, like they have been for so long. That's why I always say the men act like women and the women act like men these days, because everything's been thrown off. Everything's been, we don't know where our place is these days. I mean, it's ungodliness that's the result of that, is that we don't know our place in the world anymore. We're just a bunch of people dependent on a blood-sucking, tyrannical government, which is feeding off of us, but then we depend on them to survive. And it's I don't know, there's brave women out there that'll serve our country, but whether this is for our best interest